More now on the news that the Catholic Church has been heavily criticised by a UN committee which says its policies allowed priests to rape and molest thousands of children. Following an inquiry, the committee accused the Church of being more interested in its reputation than the well-being of children. Well, with me now is Jack Valero, the coordinator and co-founder of Catholic Voices. Thanks for joining us this evening, Jack. What's your response to this report?
I think the report is a missed opportunity. Obviously, very bad things happened in the past, but I think this report has some problems. The main one is that it takes no account of the history of abuse reform that's been going on in the Church in the last 12 years. In this country since 2001, in the United States since 2002, a reform of guidelines and procedures that have meant that now the Church in the West has the best procedures in the world, which have been praised by governments. None of that is in the report. If you read the report, you would think that priests are still being moved from parish to parish to cover them up, which is not happening, has not been happening for all this period. And obviously, the main people that need to be looked after, the victims, are not served well by a report that's inaccurate. You know, the Holy See sent 2 priests to the meeting of the UN committee in January, and they explained everything that had been done, the procedures that we've put in place over the last 12 years.
The report isn't totally inaccurate, though. Admittedly, it talks about things that have already been aired in public that we know about priests being moved from parish to parish, etc., but it's not wholly inaccurate, is it?
Well, obviously things happened, but if this is a report of recommendations, and many of the recommendations are things that are already happening, it gives a completely skewed picture of the problem, you know.
You talk about bad things happening in the past. I mean, one of our Rome correspondents, David Willey, has been highlighting the recent case of a Polish archbishop who was recalled to Rome from his post after accusations of child abuse. Now, the Vatican is not extraditing him to Poland at the request of the Polish authorities. That, you must agree, seems to still suggest that the Vatican is trying to protect its reputation above putting the needs of those children first of all.
Well, not to protect his reputation. This particular special case that he's a citizen of the Vatican because he's a diplomat of the Vatican to another country, but
yeah, I mean, that shouldn't count for anything.
No,
you know, we're talking about accusations of child abuse,
yes,
one of the most serious
crimes. He will
crimes.
be tried in public, and he will be handed over to the police.
He will be handed over to
of course, and it will,
and criminal
as will happen here for any accusation that's made against any priest in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in any country in the West, is immediately handed to the police. And if that priest is found guilty, that priest is what we call laicized, is removed from the priesthood automatically. So that's all, it's all happening. You wouldn't know this if you read the report.
Briefly, Jack, do you think, though, that, you know, despite these measures that the Vatican has put in place, that it needs to do more to create the right perception amongst the public?
Well, of course, it's been a huge scandal for decades, and this will take time to put right. The procedures and guidelines are in place. They, as I said before, they are the best in the world, and we lead the fight against child abuse, child sexual abuse in all of society. We lead that fight. This is a very important fight. We have to keep going, and the main area we have to keep going is what Pope Francis said at the end of last year, which is we must look after the victims. They're the important ones, and he set out a special committee of several people in the Vatican saying, well, we've done the legal side, we've done the procedural side, now we need to ensure that the victims are looked after, because the real harm has been done to them in the past. They're the most important.
Jack Valero from Catholic Voices, thank you very much.
Thank you.